This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 11th day of May in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The opposition, while endorsing the recommendations made by the European Union Observer Mission following the last elections, has expressed its willingness to meet with the EU team currently in Guyana to assess whether progress has been made on electoral reforms. Opposition Member of Parliament Sherwin Holder, during a press conference today, said the return of the EU Election Observer Mission is most welcomed, and the opposition stands ready to make its case for a clean voters list.
In our expected meetings with the EU follow-up mission, we in the opposition intend to make the case for a clean voters list and the use of biometrics for voting. We remain skeptical that the current photo ID and verification process can reduce the risk of fraud inherent in a bloated voters list. We also intend to demonstrate where the recent amendments to ROPA are cosmetic and ineffectual.
The opposition MP also said the opposition is also ready to advance agenda on electoral reforms.
Electoral reforms in Guyana have become increasingly necessary as GCOM continues to shirk its constitutional responsibility to deliver credible elections and as the public's confidence in elections continues to erode.
According to Holder, preparations for the 2023 local government elections have amply demonstrated that the electoral process is still prone to political manipulation, corruption, and fraud.
They have further exposed an elections commission that has been politically hijacked, is poorly chaired, is administratively unfit, and is unaccountable to the people.
Holder told the press conference that the opposition has reviewed the 26 recommendations made in the final report of the 2020 EU Election Observer Mission and found no difficulty in supporting those recommendations. The Observer Mission underscored the need for the complete overhaul of the Elections Commission through a consultative process, the need for a thorough updating of the decade-old register, and also the need for clear written procedures for the transmission and tabulation of election results. More news coming up in a moment.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say. But now that it's here, it will change life forever. And it is here to stay. The future is now. Transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Oh my lord. I just love to shop in this store. My customers, them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup!
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
Just so good, cheesy's the taste is just so good. Cheesy's are the one and only. So cheesy, crunchy, give me one please. Sunshine Snacks Cheesy's, it's just so good. The whole crowd that's a cheesy, so cheesy, just so good. Yes, fella, can you feel me? Sunshine Snacks, just so good. Number one taste, the whole place I say, just so good. Cheesy's the taste is just so good. Cheesy's are the one and only. So cheesy, crunchy, give me one please. Sunshine Snacks Cheesy's, it's just so good. Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors, that my crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors. cause we're standing by your side. Golden service, half a century and more. New India Assurance, our policies are secure. From the heart of India, we serve these islands. The strength that you can trust, you're safe when you come to us.
New India Assurance Company. Assurance when you need it most.
For your home, motor or business insurance, visit New India Guyana office, 58 Brickdam next to Star Computers. Telephone 2260-415-7. Comfortable parking available.
European Union Ambassador to Guyana René Van Ness has announced that the EU remains committed to assisting Guyana with its electoral reform plans and has brought in a team of electoral experts to assist the country with its reform of the electoral system. At Europe Day celebrations on Tuesday, the ambassador said the election experts are already here.
There are electoral experts right now in Guyana, and I can't see them, but they're actually here tonight, who are here over the coming weeks to discuss electoral reforms ahead of the general elections in 2025.
The EU was among the international observers at the 2020 elections. In its final report on those elections, the European Union said the integrity of the entire electoral process was seriously compromised by the non-transparent and non-credible tabulation of the results in the largest and decisive Region 4 by senior GCOM officials. The EU had also issued a call for priority to be given to reviewing and consolidating the country's election legislation. On Tuesday, the EU ambassador also noted that the EU has over the years been supportive of the efforts in the country to develop the electoral system and maintain democracy.
We also did over these years is support Guyana in its efforts to strengthen democratic institutions and promote good governance and combat corruption. We played an important role during the elections of 2020 when the EU fielded an election observation mission.
Just after the last elections, most of the international observers called for urgent electoral reform to take place in Guyana. The government recently announced that it was moving ahead with updated elections legislation, and there have been calls for wider consultations on electoral reform plans. As local government elections approach, President Irfan Ali is making the rounds in several communities across the country. On Wednesday, the president visited several communities on the lower east coast of Demerara, including Plaisance, Vrijtslus, and Benevowacting, with his plans to take development to those communities. Some of the issues raised by those communities included the state of community roads, drainage and irrigation, the state of community grounds, and the unavailability of jobs for young people. While urging the residents to make the right decision at the upcoming local elections, President Ali said the issues will be addressed.
We're going to work for every single community. We're going to work in the interest of all the stakeholders. I want you guys to make your own decision. You do your own thinking. You do your own analysis. I'm not telling you to listen to one way or the other. I want you to think for yourselves. I want you to make your own decision.
Many of the areas visited by the president were traditionally won by the APNU. The PPP is looking to take control of those communities. The president told residents that they should not allow themselves to be intimidated by noises in their communities.
Nobody owns anything in this place. Nobody owns anyone or any community. You guys have to make the right decision. I am here to work with you and to work with you every single day for the development of your country.
And while President Ali has promised that contracts for works in the areas will be awarded soon, he said those works will be executed by residents of the communities. The Environmental Protection Agency has outlined its reasons for challenging the recent High Court ruling, which mandates the agency to issue an enforcement notice to the Esso Exploration Company and its parent company ExxonMobil to ensure it provides unlimited insurance coverage to safeguard Guyana against the devastating effects of an oil spill. In a statement today, the EPA said it does not agree with the ruling, and sought and has since filed the appeal against the decision through its attorney Sanjeev Datadin. The EPA said it believes that it has excellent prospects of success in its bid to overturn the High Court ruling. According to the EPA, at no time it had any doubts that the permit holder was strictly and fully liable under the Environmental Protection Act, and that the permit for any pollution or damage to the environment, including compensation of affected parties. The EPA said it always maintained that the permit holder had full and strict liability to clean up, restore, remediate, and compensate for any harm caused by pollution, whether willfully or by accident. The agency also said it reviewed the insurance policy provided since 2019 against typical insurance coverage across several jurisdictions, and it was found that the coverage related to oil spill liabilities of $600 million was equivalent and in some cases exceeded the typical coverage offered in some jurisdictions. The EPA said it had to be diligent and ensure that it negotiated an affiliate company guarantee that fulfilled the requirement of Section 31 of the Environmental Protection Act, which states that a requirement for financial assurance shall specify the amount. The EPA said it received advice from several international firms and found that operators in those jurisdictions were required to provide an estimate of the reasonably credible cost of responding and cleaning up a worst-case spill, and the estimate was used to set amounts of financial assurance. The agency said at all times it has acted in accordance with the law and has executed its statutory functions diligently.
Miss Anne!
Oh, hi, darling.
Help me out with this thing, man. You just know everything. What's all this talk about local government election?
Local government refers to the mayor and councillors who manage the affairs of our towns, like Georgetown, and the chairman and councillors of the Neighborhood Democratic Council.
Oh, but why is that important to me?
Dolly, it is very important. Every day, local government officials make decisions that affects you, your family, and the community. They serve the people within the community in which they were elected.
Oh, Miss Anne, me not understand all them big words you use there. Tell me what local government does do.
All right, Dolly. Local government is responsible for maintaining and protecting public property, like our community centers and the playgrounds, for collecting the garbage, maintenance of the streets, cleaning of the drains and the carpets, and so much more.
Oh, I now understand. Thanks, Miss Anne.
You're welcome.
I'm going to show off for me friends them why I will vote at the local government elections.
That's a good thing. Let's go.
Monday, June 12, 2023 is Local Government Elections Day. For further information, contact GCOM or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Purple Arts Productions presents a treat for My Mother's 6 on Mother's Day, Sunday, May 14th at the National Cultural Center. Beverly Smith, Mosa Telford, Leona Walton, Paul Budna, Nikhil Sankar, and others. Compliments of Hello City, Munish Wars, Elsie Passad Muraj and Sons, Sunflower Jewelry, Kissun's Furniture Store, Survivor Shopping Complex, NDNS Furniture Store, 8 p.m. sharp. Tickets $25 and $2,000. Directed by Simone Dowling.
Let's tell you now that the government and the opposition found common ground in the National Assembly on Wednesday as they unanimously passed the Trafficking in Persons Bill, with stiff penalties including jail time to stem the crime. The legislation, which was presented by Human Services Minister Dr. Vinay Prasad, has several tough measures to curb trafficking in persons. During the debate yesterday, Minister Prasad said the crime requires harsh measures, and it is hoped that those measures will see drastic reductions.
And it is important to see within the framework of this bill that all of the measures that are within the bill are austere, severe, or harsh, and should act as a deterrent to persons who wish to perpetuate and perpetrate the crime of trafficking. This also should send a signal to victims who are trafficked that this bill espouses support, assistance, and redress for what would have taken place in their life.
The bill also proposes significant charges, fines, and jail time for attempts to or conspiracy acts of trafficking, which widens the net. The Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson Ben, said the trafficking in persons situation has reached a point where it has disrupted the social life of communities and the government has to move to take tough action.
We are extremely concerned about this and we will take further strong effort to deal with this problem. And I know some people who are in the party night trade may not be happy with it. We have no difficulty with the party night trade. We have no difficulty, same person, that if they go to places where persons are dancing on poles, that if they're caught in compromising situation, if they're caught at those places, that the law will take its course.
Meanwhile, Opposition Member of Parliament Natasha Singh Lewis said while the opposition is supporting the bill in principle, the question of capacity has been lagging. She wants to see that setback addressed. She also called on the government to put preventative measures in place.
If we are serious about combating trafficking of persons in this country, we absolutely have to care for the victims. We have to care about them. We have to demonstrate that we care for them. And the example of one psychiatrist leaving Georgetown to go to Linden one day of the month and referring patients to come to Georgetown to see the psychologist where they have to bear the burden of traveling and food and everything is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. You tell me what kind of psychosocial support is provided for the victims in Region 7, Region 8. Tell me about that.
An opposition member, Valda Lawrence, said that while the legislation is firm on paper, the implementation step will also be important.
All in all, Mr. Speaker, the lack of national capacity building has been our greatest enemy.
The new bill also paves the way for the establishment of a counter-trafficking unit that will be responsible for the protection of victims of trafficking in persons. Declaring that it has been monitoring and observing the advertising of legal services, particularly by persons who are not authorized to practice law, the Bar Association of Guyana is now threatening legal action to address the problem. In a statement, the Secretary of the Association, Attorney Keoma Griffith, said there has been an increase in persons offering legal services, although they are not authorized to do so. The Bar Association, he said, notes the heightened frequency, especially over the past year, of persons who are not duly admitted to practice law in Guyana, brazenly advertising that they offer legal services. And in some instances, that includes the preparation of a number of legal documents, touching and concerning divorces, custody, deeds, leases, agreements, and a whole lot more. The association also reminded that the practice of law in Guyana without being duly permitted to do so under the Legal Practitioners Act is an offense that is punishable by a fine of up to $500,000 and imprisonment for 1 year. Similarly, the association said the advertising of legal services in Guyana is strictly prohibited, whether by attorneys or other persons. It is cautioning that persons found to be offering legal services without being duly authorized to do so and are advertising such legal services will be brought before the courts to be dealt with to the full extent of the law. The association said touting for legal services is also an offense under the same act and is punishable by a fine and imprisonment for 6 months. The association said it has noted the abuse by some justices of the peace and commissioners of oaths affidavits of their commission in performing legal services, including the drafting of legal documents contrary to the Legal Practitioners Act. Meanwhile, there have also been calls for the association to address complaints against attorneys, especially for shoddy services provided and other infractions. The U.S. Embassy has announced that the U.S. is ending its COVID-19 vaccination requirements for international air travelers at the end of today. Today is also the day when the COVID-19 public health emergency ends globally. The U.S. Embassy said with effect from tomorrow, the 12th of May, non-immigrant air passengers will no longer need to show proof of being fully vaccinated with an accepted COVID-19 vaccine to board a flight to the U.S. The vaccine requirement was introduced in January of last year in the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, which killed millions of people globally. Last week, the World Health Organization said it would be ending the COVID-19 emergency. Guyana ended its COVID-19 travel restrictions several months ago, and the government fully reopened the country just after.
Hi, Mr. Smart. Please stop a minute and just clarify this thing for me.
Oh, Sunil, don't tell me it's local government questions again.
Yeah, boss. How come the local government elections different from the general elections?
Okay, the local government election systems allow for half of the members of the council to be elected through the proportional representation system, just like general elections. And the other half will be elected through the first past the post system. This system allows for one candidate to be elected to represent the constituency where he or she lives. For example, if a council got 30 seats, like the Georgetown municipality, 15 will be elected through the proportional representation system, and the other 15 will be elected through the first past the post system, giving a total of 30 councillors.
So that means that every constituency will have one of its citizens who live there having a seat and representing it at council.
Yes, Sunil, that's correct. And if you need to know anything else about the electoral system for local government elections, just call GCOM. Take care, Sunil.
All right.
Monday, June 12, 2023 is Local Government Elections Day. For further information, contact GCOM or visit the GCOM website at www.gcom.org.gy.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor at the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shop in comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water. Now available for only $120.
Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Fuel it up and drive, Super 95. Tune up. Protect your fuel system, boy. High mileage and performance, boy.
Guy Oil Super 95 gasoline gives you more reasons to drive and is available at 56 service stations nationwide. For affordable price, high performance, and high mileage, choose Guy Oil's Super 95 gasoline.
Fuel it up and drive.
Across the region tonight, the finance minister in Brazil has expressed serious concern that Argentina's economic challenges and the major drought there could affect the country's political destiny and usher in an extremist government. The finance minister said Brazil was keeping a close eye on Argentina, where the current drought could reduce exports by more than 20%, mindful of previous far-right political shifts elsewhere in Latin America. Speaking with reporters after a meeting, he said he raised the issue because Argentina needed the assistance of the International Monetary Fund. The U.S. is the largest shareholder in the global lender, and he has also raised the issue with the U.S. The Brazilian finance minister said he raised the issue because Argentina remains an important player in the world, and especially in South America. 1 week after American actress Angela Bassett was named a tourism ambassador for Antigua and Barbuda, lawyers representing the actress have issued a cease and desist letter to the Antigua and Barbuda Department of Tourism in relation to the use of her name and image without proper authorization. The correspondence came from the attorneys at the Fox Rothschild Company in the U.S. The letter has requested that the tourism board immediately stop using Bassett's name and her image in connection with any marketing or promotional efforts. They say this is until the parties have entered into a standard release agreement that authorizes such use. The tourism board has been given until the 15th of May to acknowledge receipt of the correspondence. The Hollywood star recently visited the Caribbean island of Antigua and Barbuda. And finally tonight, international news. The BBC reports that the UK has confirmed it is supplying Ukraine with long-range missiles it requested for its fight against invading Russian forces. The Storm Shadow cruise missile has a range of over 155 miles, according to its manufacturer. By contrast, the US supplied HIMARS missiles used by Ukraine only have a range of 50 miles. The weapons will give Ukraine the best chance of defending itself, the UK Defense Secretary said. They are fired from aircraft, so the longer range means Ukrainian pilots will be able to stay further from the front lines. Once launched, the Storm Shadow drops to low altitude to avoid detection by enemy radar before latching onto its target with an infrared seeker. The announcement was made in the House of Commons by the Defense Minister. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.